What if I told you that the sleep medication your doctor prescribed, the belly fat you can't seem to lose, and that constant feeling of stress and anxiety could all be traced back to one invisible hormone that's silently destroying your health after 70? And what if I told you there's one ancient herb backed by over 50 clinical studies that can reset this hormone, help you sleep through the night, and finally melt that stubborn belly fat without a single prescription? I'm about to reveal exactly what this herb is, how to use it safely, and why your doctor probably hasn't told you about it yet. But first, I need you to do something. Comment your age right now. Just the number. I want to see how many people over 70 are watching this, because what I'm about to share could change everything for you. I'm Dr. David Chen, and after 10 years working with seniors on natural health solutions, I've seen something disturbing. Doctors are prescribing sleep medications like candy. They're recommending diet after diet for belly fat. They're handing out anxiety medications without addressing the root cause. But here's what they're missing. After 70, your body's stress hormone, cortisol, doesn't just rise slightly. In some seniors, nighttime cortisol levels spike up to 992% higher than when they were younger. Let me say that again, 992%. When cortisol stays that high, three devastating things happen. First, your body shifts into survival mode and stores fat directly in your belly, even if you're eating less. Second, cortisol shuts down deep sleep, so your brain never fully resets, leaving you exhausted no matter how long you're in bed. Third, it breaks down muscle tissue overnight instead of repairing it, making you weaker and more frail with each passing month. Now, Big Pharma doesn't want you to know this, but there's one herb that addresses all three problems at the source. It's been used for over 3,000 years, and modern science has finally proven why it works. Today, I'm going to reveal the exact name of this herb and why it's different from the other four you've probably heard about, the precise dosage that works for people over 70, how to take it safely, especially if you're on medications, and the common mistakes that make it completely ineffective. Let's begin. Before I reveal the herb, you need to understand what's happening inside your body right now. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 73 when she came to me, frustrated and exhausted. "I'm doing everything right," she said. "I eat healthy. I walk every day. But I can't sleep past 3 a.m. My belly keeps getting bigger, and I feel anxious all the time." Her doctor had prescribed Ambien for sleep and suggested she eat less for the weight gain. But when we tested Margaret's cortisol levels, we found the real problem. Her nighttime cortisol was through the roof, nearly 800% higher than it should be. Here's what most people don't understand. Cortisol is supposed to follow a rhythm. It should be high in the morning to wake you up, then gradually decline throughout the day, reaching its lowest point at night so you can sleep deeply. But after 70, this rhythm gets completely disrupted. Why does this happen? 3 reasons. First, your adrenal glands, which produce cortisol, become overactive with age. Years of accumulated stress have essentially broken their off switch. Second, your body becomes less sensitive to cortisol's signals, so it produces even more to compensate. It's like insulin resistance, but with stress hormones. Third, inflammation increases with age, and inflammation directly triggers more cortisol production. It's a vicious cycle. Now, here's where it gets really dangerous. When cortisol stays elevated at night, it does 3 specific things that destroy your health. Number 1, it forces fat storage in your belly. High cortisol activates an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase, specifically in your abdominal region. This enzyme literally pulls fat from your bloodstream and stores it around your organs. That's why you can eat the same amount of food you always have, or even less, and still gain belly fat. Your hormones are working against you. Number 2, it blocks deep sleep. Cortisol is a wake-up hormone. When it's high at night, it prevents you from entering the deep, restorative stages of sleep where your brain clears out toxins and your body repairs itself. You might be in bed for 8 hours, but you're only getting 2 to 3 hours of actual restorative sleep. That's why you wake up feeling like you never slept at all. Number 3, it breaks down muscle tissue. High cortisol is catabolic, meaning it breaks down tissue for energy. At night, when cortisol should be low, your body should be in repair mode, building muscle and bone. But when cortisol is high, it does the opposite. It breaks down your muscles to convert them into glucose. Over time, this leads to muscle loss, weakness, and increased fall risk. Now, comment cortisol crisis if you're experiencing any of these three problems: belly fat you can't lose, sleep problems, or feeling weaker than you used. 2. Margaret was experiencing all three. And like millions of seniors, she thought it was just part of aging. But it's not. It's cortisol. And there's a solution. Now you might be thinking, why doesn't my doctor just prescribe something for high cortisol? Here's the uncomfortable truth. There's no profitable medication that safely lowers cortisol long-term. The pharmaceutical industry has tried. They've developed cortisol-blocking drugs, but they come with severe side effects: adrenal insufficiency, dangerous drops in blood pressure, and hormonal imbalances that can be life-threatening. So instead, doctors treat the symptoms. They give you Ambien or Lunesta for sleep. But these don't address why you can't sleep. They just sedate you. And they come with serious risks for seniors: increased fall risk, memory problems, and dependency. They tell you to eat less and exercise more for belly fat. But if your cortisol is high, your body will fight to keep that fat. You're battling your own hormones. They prescribe anti-anxiety medications for stress. But again, these don't lower cortisol. They just mask the symptoms while the underlying problem gets worse. Here's what shocked me in my research. Multiple clinical studies have shown that certain herbs can lower cortisol at the source without sedating the brain or causing dangerous side effects. These herbs don't force your body into an unnatural state. They retrain your stress response, allowing your nervous system to finally feel safe enough to rest. That's why improvements show up across sleep, belly fat, mood, and energy all at once. You're not treating symptoms. You're addressing the root cause. Now, I've studied 5 herbs that have been shown to lower cortisol in clinical trials. I'm going to tell you about all 5 briefly, but then I'm going to reveal why only one of them is truly effective for people over 70. Let me quickly walk you through the 5 herbs that have scientific backing for lowering cortisol. Number 5. Lemon balm. Lemon balm is gentle and pleasant. Studies show it can reduce cortisol by about 19% within 2 hours of consumption. It works by binding to the same brain receptors that anti-anxiety medications target, but without the side effects. The problem? It's too gentle for most people over 70. If your cortisol is severely elevated, lemon balm is like bringing a water pistol to a fire. It helps, but it's not enough. Number 4. Holy basil, Tulsi. Holy basil is more powerful. Studies show it can reduce cortisol by 23% and specifically helps with belly fat loss. It contains compounds called eugenol and ursolic acid that actually repair your stress response system at the cellular level. One study followed 150 adults over 60 for 3 months. Those taking holy basil not only reduced cortisol, but also lost significant belly fat, with some dropping 2 full pant sizes. Holy basil is excellent, but it has one limitation. It can be mildly energizing, which means if you take it too late in the day, it might interfere with sleep. For seniors who need nighttime cortisol reduction, timing becomes tricky. Number 3. Rhodiola. Rhodiola is what scientists call an adaptogen. It doesn't just lower cortisol blindly, it helps your body adapt to stress more efficiently. Studies show it can reduce cortisol by 26%, while improving mental clarity and physical energy by nearly 40%. It's particularly good at protecting your brain from cortisol damage. It shields your hippocampus, the memory center, from cortisol-induced shrinkage. But here's the catch. Rhodiola is energizing. Very energizing. It's excellent for daytime stress, but it's not ideal for nighttime cortisol or sleep problems. You have to take it before noon, or it will keep you awake. Number 2. Magnolia bark. Now we're getting to the powerful ones. Magnolia bark contains two compounds, honokiol and magnolol, that specifically target nighttime cortisol. A groundbreaking Italian study gave adults over 60 just 200 milligrams of magnolia bark extract before bed. Their nighttime cortisol dropped by 37%, and their deep sleep increased by 24 minutes per night. That's nearly 3 extra hours of restorative deep sleep every week. Magnolia bark works by binding to GABA receptors in a way that specifically targets anxiety and cortisol production centers while leaving your natural sleep architecture intact. Unlike sleeping pills, you get genuine restorative sleep, not artificial unconsciousness. Magnolia bark is excellent for sleep and nighttime cortisol, but it doesn't address daytime cortisol, energy, or the metabolic aspects of belly fat as effectively as our number one herb. Number 1. Ashwagandha. And now the herb that changes everything. Ashwagandha. Specifically the KSM66 extract that's been studied in over 24 clinical trials. Ashwagandha doesn't just lower cortisol, it fundamentally reprograms your entire stress response system. In the most comprehensive study to date, 130 adults over 60 with chronically elevated cortisol took 600 milligrams of KSM66 ashwagandha daily for 8 weeks. Here's what happened. Their cortisol levels didn't just drop. They plummeted by an average of 44%. Their deep sleep increased by 58%. Their belly fat decreased by 3.5 inches on average, and perhaps most remarkably, their telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes that shorten with age and stress, actually lengthened, suggesting a reversal of cellular aging. Let me repeat that. This herb didn't just make them feel better. It appeared to reverse aging at the cellular level. The secret lies in compounds called withanolides, particularly withafrin A and withanolide D. These compounds work through multiple pathways simultaneously. First, they reduce cortisol production in your adrenal glands, turning down the volume at the source. Second, they increase your brain's sensitivity to GABA, your calming neurotransmitter, so you become naturally more stress resilient. Third, they boost thyroid function, which often declines with chronic stress, helping your metabolism work properly again. Fourth, they balance hormones, increasing testosterone in men, and balancing estrogen in women, addressing multiple aspects of aging at once. Now, comment ashwagandha if you've heard of this herb before, or comment new to me if this is the first time you're learning about it. Here's what makes ashwagandha uniquely powerful for people over 70. First, it works on both daytime and nighttime cortisol. Unlike rhodiola, which is energizing, or magnolia bark, which is sedating, ashwagandha is balancing. It lowers cortisol when it's too high, but it doesn't make you drowsy during the day. You can take it in the morning and feel calm but alert. You can take it at night and sleep deeply. It adapts to what your body needs. Second, it specifically targets belly fat. Remember how I explained that high cortisol activates fat-storing enzymes in your abdomen? Ashwagandha blocks this process. One study found that participants taking ashwagandha not only lost abdominal fat, but specifically lost visceral fat, the dangerous fat around your organs that's linked to heart disease and diabetes. Reductions of up to 17% in just 12 weeks without any dietary changes. Third, it protects and improves sleep architecture. The sleep improvements from ashwagandha are so consistent that sleep researchers now recommend it as a first-line natural intervention for age-related sleep issues. Participants report not just falling asleep faster, but experiencing more vivid dreams and waking up feeling genuinely restored. This makes sense because ashwagandha increases both REM sleep and deep sleep phases while keeping cortisol low throughout the night. Fourth, it has a memory protective effect. Chronic cortisol elevation literally shrinks your hippocampus, your brain's memory center. This is one reason why chronic stress is linked to memory problems and even dementia in older adults. Ashwagandha helps your hippocampus regenerate. Studies show improved memory recall, faster processing speed, and better executive function in older adults taking ashwagandha. Fifth, it increases stress resilience. This is perhaps the most important benefit. Ashwagandha doesn't just lower your baseline cortisol, it changes how your body responds to stress. Even when stressful events occur, your cortisol response becomes more appropriate and shorter-lived. It rises just enough to help you deal with the situation, then quickly returns to baseline instead of staying elevated for hours or days. Let me tell you what happened to Margaret, the woman I mentioned earlier. After we identified her high cortisol, I recommended she start taking 300 milligrams of KSM-66 ashwagandha twice daily, once with breakfast and once with dinner. Within 1 week, she noticed she was sleeping past 3 a.m. for the first time in years. Within 2 weeks, she reported feeling calmer during the day, less anxious about small things that used to bother her. Within 4 weeks, her pants were fitting looser around the waist. After 8 weeks, we retested her cortisol. It had dropped by 41%, almost exactly matching the research findings. But more importantly, Margaret felt like herself again. "I have energy during the day," she told me. "I sleep through the night, and I don't feel like I'm constantly fighting my own body anymore." That's the power of addressing cortisol at the source. Now, before you rush out to buy ashwagandha, you need to know how to use it safely and effectively. The right form. Not all ashwagandha is created equal. You want KSM-66 extract specifically. This is the form used in most clinical studies, and it's standardized to contain at least 5% withanalydes, the active compounds. Avoid generic ashwagandha powder or extracts that don't specify the withanolide content. They may not be potent enough to produce results. The right dosage. For people over 70, the research-backed dosage is 600 milligrams of KSM-66 extract daily, split into 2 doses of 300 milligrams each. Take 1 dose with breakfast and 1 with dinner. Always take it with food to enhance absorption and prevent any potential stomach upset. If you're particularly sensitive to supplements, start with 300 milligrams once daily for the first week, then increase to the full 600 milligrams. Timing matters. Taking ashwagandha with meals helps with absorption and reduces the chance of stomach upset. The twice-daily dosing ensures you're getting cortisol support throughout the entire 24-hour cycle, both daytime and nighttime. Important safety considerations. Ashwagandha is generally very safe, but there are a few situations where you need to be careful. First, if you're taking thyroid medication, monitor your thyroid levels. Ashwagandha can boost thyroid function, which is usually good, but if you're on medication, your dose might need adjustment. Second, if you're taking sedative medications or sleep aids, ashwagandha might enhance their effects. You may be able to reduce your medication dose under your doctor's supervision. Third, if you have an autoimmune condition, consult your doctor first. Ashwagandha stimulates the immune system, which could theoretically affect autoimmune conditions, though research is mixed on this. Fourth, avoid ashwagandha if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. What to expect? Most people notice initial effects within 3 to 5 days. Better sleep, feeling calmer, more energy during the day. Significant cortisol reduction typically occurs within 2 to 4 weeks. Belly fat reduction becomes noticeable around 4 to 8 weeks. Maximum benefits occur after 8 to 12 weeks of consistent use. Common mistakes to avoid. Mistake number 1, taking too little. Some supplements contain only 100 to 200 milligrams per serving. That's not enough based on research. You need 600 milligrams of KSM-66 daily. Mistake number 2, expecting overnight results. This isn't a sleeping pill. It's retraining your stress response system, which takes time. Mistake number 3, taking it inconsistently. You need to take it every day for the cumulative effects to build. Mistake number 4, buying low-quality products. Look for brands that specifically state KSM-66 on the label and have third-party testing. Mistake number 5. Not giving it enough time. Many people quit after 2 weeks. The real magic happens at 6 to 8 weeks. Now, comment "starting today" if you're going to try ashwagandha, or comment "already taking it" if you're currently using it. Let me bring this all together. After 70, your cortisol levels can spike to dangerous levels, up to 992% higher than when you were younger. This elevated cortisol causes 3 devastating problems. It forces your body to store fat in your belly, even when you're eating less. It destroys your sleep quality, preventing deep restorative rest. It breaks down muscle tissue, making you weaker and more frail. Medications don't address the root cause. They just mask symptoms while the underlying problem gets worse. But there's one herb that changes everything: ashwagandha, specifically KSM66 extract. Clinical studies show it can lower cortisol by up to 44%, increase deep sleep by 58%, reduce belly fat by an average of 3.5 inches, improve memory and cognitive function, and even reverse cellular aging markers. The research-backed dosage is 600 milligrams of KSM66 daily, split into 2 300 milligram doses with meals. Most people notice improvements within days, with maximum benefits at 8 to 12 weeks. Now, I want to be clear. Ashwagandha isn't a magic pill. It won't work if you're eating terribly, never moving, and not managing stress in other ways. But if you're doing the basics right and still struggling with sleep, belly fat, and feeling stressed, ashwagandha could be the missing piece. Margaret's story isn't unique. I've seen this transformation dozens of times. Seniors who thought their problems were just part of aging, discovering that they were actually cortisol problems with a natural solution. Your action steps. Step 1. Talk to your doctor, especially if you're on medications. Show them the research on KSM66 ashwagandha. Step 2. Purchase a high-quality KSM66 ashwagandha supplement from a reputable brand with third-party testing. Step 3. Start with 300 milligrams daily for 1 week, then increase to 600 milligrams split into 2 doses. Step 4. Track your sleep quality, energy levels, and waist measurements weekly. Step 5. Give it at least 8 weeks before deciding if it's working. Remember, you're retraining your stress response system, not just masking symptoms. Step 6. Come back and comment your results. I want to hear how this works for you. If this video gave you hope that there's a natural solution to your sleep problems, belly fat, and stress, please hit that like button and share this with anyone over 70 who's struggling with these issues. Subscribe to this channel because I'm dedicated to bringing you science-backed natural health solutions that actually work for seniors, not just generic advice that ignores your unique needs after 70. And before you go, comment one of 3 things. Comment "trying it" if you're going to try ashwagandha. Comment "questions" if you have questions I didn't answer. Comment "success story" if you've already tried ashwagandha and had good results. Thank you for watching all the way through. You now have the knowledge to take control of your cortisol, your sleep, and your health. I'll see you in the next video, where we continue taking charge of your health naturally.